Welcome to Conversations, Season 2 of the MTA Podcast Series, a weekly audiocast featuring interviews with leading investment strategists, geopolitical experts, and other key thought leaders. Brought to you by the Market Technicians Association.
Tuesday, 2nd of August 2011. Welcome to Conversations, the official MTA podcast. This month, we will be talking to Steve Ward, Trader Performance Coach from High Performance Global. Steve will be presenting to the UK chapter of the Market Technicians Association on trader decisions and discipline, the psychobiology of peak trading performance. Both the presentation and the interview itself have been videoed and are available through the MTA website, along with all the UK chapter monthly meetings and presenter interviews. Without further ado, let's talk to Steve. Steve, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Alex.
All right, let's begin with our first of our questions. Could you please give us some information about your personal and educational background before getting involved with trading?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, initially I started off working in sport and sports coaching, and then into sports psychology. So my trading issue was in sports coaching and sports psychology and sports performance, and I worked in that area for about 10 years. And the move into trading was purely by chance. I was running a weekend sports psychology workshop down in Bournemouth here in England, and at the end of the course I was approached by a guy who I thought was a tennis coach who'd been on the programme, and it turned out he was actually the head of performance and learning for a big trading group. And he just said to me, "Do you think this can work with traders, this sports psychology? Do you think it can help them?" I knew nothing really about trading. I thought it was going to be guys in bowler hats, walking around London with umbrellas. Turned up on the trading floor in a big trading group. There were guys very casually dressed. It was their non-farm payrolls. There was a real big buzz in the room, and that was my kind of first insight. So we ran a few trial workshops and did some one-to-one coaching. The guys really liked it. I think trading and sports do have some crossover. And that was it really. So from 2005, when that was, right through to today, trading really has been my main thing.
Brilliant. And how did you first get involved with trading?
Well, through that link, obviously with the guys there on the trading floor was my first introduction. And then myself in trading myself, in the end of 2005, I was working on a graduate training program. And they put the grads onto a simulator. And when I was in sports psychology, it was a real big thing of mine to always try and do the sport that I was working in to get a feel for it. So I thought, if I'm going to work with traders, I've got to get into trading and understand what it is. So I traded on the simulator, traded the Bund, which is also a very interesting market. And then in 2006, took it a bit more seriously and started trading stock indices on the Dow and then into FX. So for me as a trader from 2006.
Brilliant. And could you please describe your day-to-day responsibilities and the most challenging aspect of your work?
Okay, so day-to-day, the great thing about my work is it's varied. So I'm working with traders, other individuals, or with banks or funds or energy trading companies or prop groups, pretty much all over the globe. So I can be in the UK, I can be in Asia, in the US, over in Europe. Probably, I guess the bulk of my time is probably one-to-one coaching. So I'm sat with a trader one-to-one and we're working on helping them to improve their performance that way, but also doing seminars or conferences or group training. And then more recently, over the last few years, working with trading teams to try and help trading teams to get a better balance and perform better. And also with heads of desks who have sometimes had that challenging job of they're a trader and also a manager. So we've done a lot of work recently on doing that. So really with traders, guys who trade at home from retail all the way through to hedge fund traders, graduates all the way through to experienced guys, leaders, teams, so a real mixture. And so any day can be different. The
largest part of your clientele, would it be retail or professional traders?
Professional traders, yeah, probably 85-90% professional traders, and then probably 10-15% retail traders, mainly through webinar programs that I run, conferences, and then some one-to-one coaching for the guys who are kind of taking it really seriously.
I understand. Now, the next part of the interviews, it's called the toolbox. Could you please talk about your favorite tools and techniques? What do you specialize in?
Well, again, I mean, I'm pretty eclectic. I've kind of got no real favourite approach. I'm kind of a, have as many tools in the toolbox as you can kind of guy. I think probably at heart I'm pretty pragmatic, so I like things that are very practical. I think that's really key, and traders like that. I would say probably something I'm really keen on at the moment that I've been using a lot is what we call solution-focused coaching. So really helping traders to identify their strengths and where they've been successful, to look at where their kind of their niches in the markets, and to make sure they're fully utilised in that area. Because I think all too often traders get sucked into what's not working. I'm not making money. I'm not making enough money, and sometimes they spend too much time trying to address that rather than trying to look at what they can be doing, making more of what they've already got. So I do a lot of work around, I guess, that side of things, and then probably two other things. I use a lot of biofeedback. So helping traders to regulate their emotional state, which we're going to have a look at in tonight's presentation. And then probably relaxation, visualization, helping traders to manage their emotional state, to use some of the skills from sports psychology. So, but I say, there's 100+ tools in the toolbox, so it all depends on who I'm working with.
Very interesting. Who have you been your greatest influences? For example, if you had to recommend 3 trading psychology books, which ones would this be?
3 books, pretty easy for me. First one, Mark Douglas, Trading the Zone, and I'm sure I'm not the first one to recommend that. I think it's a fantastic book. Secondly, I'd probably go for Brett Steenbarger. Tossed up 2 great books from Brett. I mean, Enhancing Trader Performance, I love. Psychology of Trading, also a great book, but if I was pressed, I'd go for Enhancing Trader Performance, because I love the performance angle that Brett takes in that book. And then thirdly, again, probably a popular one, Market Wizards. Because I just think, the depth of information you get from seeing how those guys are approaching the markets. And, again, I think the big message in there is it's not about what you trade or how you trade, it's about who you are as a trader. And I think that's a really important message, which lots of traders still don't really kind of get, particularly in the retail sector, probably.
Okay. Trading psychology principles. If you could distill your knowledge in a few axioms, which ones would this be?
Okay, I think my approach is what I would call like a well-being approach. So if you take medicine, typically it's pathological. People kind of get ill, then they try and get fixed. Whereas now the movement is towards well-being, try and help people to be healthy and well to avoid them getting problems. So my approach in trading psychology is very similar. Rather than waiting for traders to get problems and then address them, what can we do up front to try and reduce those? So things like appropriate training, appropriate risk management, preparation up front, developing your strategy. So working on those kind of pragmatic factors up front, which then when applied, so a good strategy employed in the market with good risk management, with preparation and good common sense, is going to reduce the number of factors that occur beyond that. And then really, whatever crops up, let's deal with that. But let's make sure we're doing all the sort of the hard work up front first. So I'd say it's kind of performance is my first and foremost part. Let's do all the performance factors, and then let's look at the psychology that comes out behind that.
All right. And fun fact, what does Steve do to relax outside of market hours? Do you have any hobbies?
So in my formative years, I was very into triathlon and cycling. So even though the years are passing me by, I still try and get on the bike and still compete a little bit on the bike. And then just recently got into paddleboarding, which is basically a big surfboard. You stand on it with a paddle, and it's just a bit of a chill out time on the water. So cycling and paddleboarding for me at the moment.
Sounds fun. Brilliant. Okay, and that concludes our interview. Steve, thank you very much
Alex,
for joining us.
It's been a pleasure.
And I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us at the MTA Conversations podcast. We'll see you again next month.